Before this night settles around you, let your weary heart feel God lifting the weight you've carried all day. You don't have to hold it any longer. You don't have to pretend you're fine or strong or steady. Not right now. Not in this sacred moment. Tonight is the place where you can finally let your shoulders drop, let your breath deepen, and let your soul rest in the presence of the one who has walked with you through every hour of this day. Because God saw everything you carried. He saw the moments you pushed through fatigue. He saw the conversations you didn't have the energy for, but showed up for anyway. He saw the quiet disappointments you swallowed. He saw the worries you tried not to think about. He saw the things you didn't tell anyone, the frustrations, the fears, the heaviness tucked behind your smile. And now, He invites you to bring all of it to Him before you sleep. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Rest, not just sleep. Rest for your mind. Rest for your emotions. Rest for your weary heart. Right now, you get to choose something sacred, to stop carrying the day into the night and place the day into God's hands instead. There's a difference between lying down and truly letting go. Your body can touch the bed while your mind still runs miles. Your eyes can close while your soul stays awake with worry. But tonight, God is inviting you to something deeper, to a surrender that actually lightens you from the inside out. Take a slow breath right here. Inhale gently and let your chest rise. And now exhale, like you're releasing everything you don't need to carry anymore. Do it again, slowly. Inhale His peace. Exhale the day. Let this breath be your quiet act of trust. Let each exhale say, "Lord, I hand today to you." And let each inhale whisper, "Your peace is filling me." You may not realize it, but even right now, God is already drawing near. His presence isn't far from you. It's wrapping you like a soft blanket, soothing you, steadying you, reminding you that you are not alone in this room, not alone in this moment, not alone in this life. He saw every moment of your day, the difficult moments, the confusing moments, the mundane moments, the beautiful ones that flickered by too fast, and the draining ones that left you feeling more tired than you expected. And God says to you right now, "I was with you in all of it, and He is with you now." Tonight, we also begin something deeper, a journey of trusting God's timing. Because much of the weight you carry comes not only from what happened today, but from what hasn't happened yet. From the prayers still unanswered, from the hopes that feel delayed, from the situations that feel stuck, from the concerns that always seem to roll into the next day. But tonight, you don't have to solve anything. You don't have to figure out what tomorrow will bring. You don't have to carry pressure that was never meant to rest on your shoulders. Tonight is about release. Tonight is about surrender. Tonight is about peace. And peace begins with this simple act: handing today to God. If you want, you can whisper it softly where you are. "Lord, I hand today to you." Say it again if you need to. There is power in those words, not because they are magic, but because they open the door to divine rest. Think of your day like a heavy bag you've been holding. Your muscles are tired. Your grip is tired. Your heart is tired. God isn't asking you to throw it away. He's asking you to give it to Him place it in His hands. The mistakes, the stresses, the misunderstandings, the things you wish you could redo, the conversations that drained you, the pressure you felt, the things you didn't finish, the decisions you had to make even when you were unsure. All of it belongs in His hands tonight. Because His timing is perfect. His care for you is deep, and nothing that concerns you is unnoticed by Him. So as you settle into this prayer, allow your body to soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders fall. Let your breathing slow. Let peace begin to settle over you like a warm, gentle covering. You're safe here. You're held here. You're seen here. God is taking the weight from you, piece by piece, breath by breath. Let tonight be the night you stop carrying what God never asked you to carry alone. And when you're ready, we'll continue deeper into this journey of rest and trust. We will walk together into peace and into the heart of the God who holds your life with perfect love. If you desire a deeper connection with God and want to join us in daily prayer, write Amen in the comments as your declaration that you are here, ready to trust Him tonight. In the quiet of this night, God is closer than your own breath, nearer than every fear whispering in the dark. As everything around you slows and the noise of the day finally fades, you may feel the weight of silence settling in. For some, that silence feels peaceful. But for others, especially when the night grows long, it can feel unsettling. Thoughts get louder. Worries rise to the surface. Memories replay. The mind starts wandering into places you don't want it to go, but hear this deeply tonight. Silence is not abandonment. Stillness is not emptiness. Quiet is not the absence of God. It is often the space where His voice comes through the clearest. Scripture tells us in 1 Kings 19:12 that the Lord was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in the gentle whisper. God spoke in stillness. He spoke in quiet. And tonight, He is speaking to you in the very place that feels empty. Because nighttime silence can play tricks on your heart. You might feel forgotten. You might feel alone. Your mind might wander into fear, imagining outcomes that haven't happened, worrying about things you cannot control, replaying conversations, reliving mistakes, anticipating problems. This is why nights are spiritually tender moments. The mind wants to run ahead, but God invites you to rest back. So take a slow breath. Let your body soften into the stillness. Let your heartbeat settle into a calmer rhythm. And hear this truth. God is with you right now. Not far, not distant, not inattentive. His presence is closer than the thoughts in your mind. When you can't feel Him, He is still there. When emotions overwhelm you, He is still there. When anxiety rises, He is still there. When your mind spins and your chest tightens, He is still there. When the room feels too quiet and your heart feels too loud, He is still there. You are not alone tonight. Speak that over yourself. You are not alone tonight. Say it again if needed. Let the truth begin to sink beneath the surface of fear. Maybe you've had nights where the quiet made you feel forgotten. Nights where God seemed silent. Nights where heaven felt far away. But God's silence is not His absence. Many times, silence is actually His invitation. An invitation to lean in, to breathe slower, to let your soul be still enough to sense Him, to allow your heart to settle into His presence without rushing. Stillness is not something our hearts naturally choose. We are used to movement, constant, relentless movement. But rest is a spiritual discipline. It is an act of trust. Tonight, resting in God's presence is your way of saying, I trust you even when you are quiet. I trust you even when I can't feel everything I want to feel. I trust you because you promised to be with me always. Psalm 46:10 whispers, Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy, not be productive, not fix everything before you sleep. Just be still. And in the stillness, know that He is God. Know that He is near. Know that He is holding you even now. If your thoughts have been racing, place a gentle hand over your heart. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. This body of yours is not alone. This room you're in is not empty. God's presence fills the space around you. Even the air you breathe carries His nearness. Imagine for a moment a soft light filling the room. Not a visual light, but a spiritual one. A peace that begins settling in the corners first, then slowly moves toward the center, surrounding your bed, wrapping around your shoulders, quieting everything inside you. This is the peace Jesus promised in John 14:27. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Let that peace settle deeper with each breath. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to feel spiritual enough. Just breathe and let God be God near you. You are not alone tonight. Say it one more time, tenderly. You are not alone tonight. God is not only with you, He is watching over you, as Psalm 121:4 says, He who watches over Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Even when you close your eyes, even when you drift off, God stays awake, God stays near, God stays attentive. He protects you in the quiet. He holds you in the stillness, and He will guide your thoughts into rest. As you prepare to move deeper into this prayer journey, let your heart soften into this truth. You are safe. You are held. You are seen. You are not alone. Take one more slow breath. Let the stillness no longer feel empty, but holy. Let the quiet feel less like silence and more like sanctuary. And when you're ready, we will continue. Moving deeper into God's comfort, into His heart, and into the peace that your soul has been longing for. If your heart feels heavy tonight, if the tears you didn't cry today finally rise at the quiet of this hour, God is holding you closer than you know. You don't have to hide your emotions from Him. You don't have to pretend to be strong or collected or fine. Not here, not in this moment. Not with the God who sees the deepest parts of you and loves you without hesitation. Maybe tonight you feel loneliness settling over you like a quiet ache. Maybe disappointment has been sitting in your chest, unspoken and unprocessed. Maybe fear keeps circling the same worries. Maybe confusion has clouded your mind until you don't even know what to pray for anymore. If any of that is true, hear me. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not faithless. You are human, and God meets humans exactly where they are. Psalm 61:2 says, When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Not if your heart is overwhelmed. When? God knew you would have nights like this. Moments that feel too big. Emotions that feel too heavy. Thoughts that feel too tangled. And instead of pushing you to be stronger, He invites you to be held. Tonight, Let these words settle deep. God understands what you haven't been able to say out loud. The things you swallowed, the things you brushed past, the things you tried to ignore, the things you didn't want to burden anyone else with, the things you weren't ready to admit. He knows all of it, every emotion, every memory, every ache, and He is not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. Sometimes at night, everything feels sharper. The silence gets louder. Memories return unexpectedly. Regrets replay. Worries stretch into the future. What didn't hurt at noon suddenly feels unbearable at midnight. Nighttime has a way of revealing the things we tried to outrun during the day. If that's where you are right now, I want you to breathe slowly and let yourself be honest before God. Tell Him in your own heart, Lord, this is hard for me. You don't have to find perfect words. You don't have to speak formally. Your tears, your sighs, your fatigue, all of those are prayers too. Let yourself imagine this right now. You are sitting beside God, not a distant, unreachable God, but a Father who draws near with tenderness. A Father who sees the fullness of your emotions and says, I'm here. Let me carry some of that for you. Picture His arms around you, steady, warm, safe. Picture Him placing a hand gently over the place in your chest that still hurts. Picture His presence forming a quiet shelter around you, like a soft blanket of peace. You are not too complicated for Him. You are not too emotional for Him. You are not too much for Him. You are His beloved, seen, known, cherished, held. If your heart feels tired, He is not disappointed. If you feel like you've reached your limit, He is not frustrated. If you feel confused, He is not urging you to figure everything out. He is simply saying, come rest in me. Let this truth comfort you. God isn't waiting for you to pull yourself together. He comes close because you are undone. He draws near because you feel fragile. He holds you because you cannot hold yourself tonight. He is not just the God of miracles. He is the God of comfort, the God of compassion, the God who bends low to meet you in your tears. Right now, place a hand gently over your heart. Feel its heaviness, its ache, its longing, and whisper, Lord, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. You don't have to climb to Him. He comes to you. He lifts you. He stabilizes you. He strengthens you from the inside out. Let Him sit with you in your sadness. Let Him comfort your loneliness. Let Him quiet your fears. Let Him bring clarity where confusion once lived. And gently, so gently, let this truth rest upon you. You are not facing this night alone. You are not facing this struggle alone. You are not facing this season alone. You are held by the God who loves you with an everlasting love. Breathe slowly again. Let your shoulders soften. Let the weight you've been carrying shift from your chest into His hands. You don't have to rush this moment. Stay here. Rest here. Let your overwhelmed heart be carried by a God who is not overwhelmed. And when you're ready, we will continue. Because the one who holds you is leading you deeper into peace, deeper into rest, and deeper into His unfailing love. Before you whisper a single request, let your heart remember who you're praying to. Before you speak your fears, before you list your needs, before you pour out the burdens sitting heavy in your chest, pause, breathe, and lift your eyes to the one who hears you with perfect love. Because prayer doesn't begin with what you need. Prayer begins with who God is. So often, when we come to prayer, especially at night, we start from the place of fear, urgency, or exhaustion. We start from the problem. We start from the emotion. We start from the pressure of what feels impossible. But Scripture teaches us something different. We start with God. We start with His nature. We start with His promises. We start with His unchanging character. This is why His word matters so deeply. Scripture shapes our prayers, not by telling us what to say, but by reminding us who we are speaking to. Luke 1:37 says, "No word from God will ever fail." Let those words settle into you for a moment. No word from God, no promise, no declaration, no covenant, no spoken truth will ever fall short, expire, or return empty. Your situation may shift. Your emotions may rise and fall. Your thoughts may wander. Your circumstances may feel unstable. But God does not change. His faithfulness is not seasonal. His power is not conditional. His love is not fragile. His promises are not temporary. He is faithful. He is steady. He is unchanging. He is powerful. He is the same God from your childhood as He is in this exact moment, guiding, carrying, sustaining, loving, and defending you. When you begin your prayer with who He is, something inside you settles. Your heartbeat slows. Your mind softens. Fear loosens its grip. And suddenly, the thing you were afraid to bring to Him doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. Because you remember, you are not praying to an idea. You are not praying to the air. You are not praying to a distant deity. You are praying to your Father, your shepherd, your healer, your provider, your protector, your waymaker, your peace, your constant, your God. Situations shift, but God does not. When you look only at the problem, prayer becomes pressure. But when you look first at God, prayer becomes peace. When you focus on the situation, your heart feels small. When you focus on God's nature, your heart feels steady. When you stare at uncertainty, anxiety grows. When you lift your eyes to the one who has never failed you, confidence returns. So tonight, before we ask for miracles, before we place every impossible thing before Him, before we speak the desires of our hearts, let your soul settle into the truth of who He is. Take a slow breath right now, and as you inhale, whisper in your heart, "You are God." And as you exhale, "And you do not fail." Say it again if you want. Let your heart absorb it. You are God, and you do not fail. Let's remember together. He is the God who parted seas. He is the God who opened barren wombs. He is the God who tore down walls with a shout. He is the God who fed thousands with a handful of bread and fish. He is the God who healed the sick, raised the dead, restored the broken, defended the vulnerable, and comforted the grieving. He is the God who called the stars into existence and knows each one by name. That same God hears your prayer tonight. There has never been a moment when He was powerless, and there never will be. So let your perspective shift from the size of your problem to the strength of your God, from the uncertainty of your tomorrow to the consistency of His promises, from the fear you feel right now to the love that has been holding you every day of your life. When your prayer starts with God, with His character, His truth, His word, you begin your prayer already anchored. Your heart becomes calmer. Your trust grows deeper. Your confidence becomes steadier. And you find yourself praying, not from anxiety, but from assurance. So before you pray tonight, let this be your inward posture. Lord, I remember who you are. I remember your faithfulness. I remember your promises. I remember your love for me. Feel how different the air in your soul becomes when you start here. The problems of today do not diminish God's ability. Your fears do not intimidate him. Your needs do not overwhelm him. Your tears do not confuse him. Your doubts do not push him away. He is God, and he is for you. Take one more breath. Let your heart rest in this truth. Your prayer is not reaching for God. It is meeting the God who has already reached for you, who is already near you, who already knows what you need and loves you more deeply than you will ever fully grasp. And when you're ready, we will go deeper into this journey of peace, trust, and surrender, all built on the foundation of who God is. Not just what you are aiming, but you are asking him to do. Before peace can flow freely tonight, we must gently untangle the knots in our hearts, not by force, not by pretending nothing hurt, but by allowing God to soften the tight places inside us, the places where pain has gathered, where resentment has settled, where disappointment has quietly built walls around the heart. Forgiveness is one of the most tender, difficult, and liberating things God invites us into. And he invites us not to punish us, not to dismiss our pain, but to free us for rest. Jesus says in Mark 11:25, "And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them. Not for their sake alone, not because what they did was acceptable, not because you suddenly feel healed, but because forgiveness opens the heart to receive grace. Forgiveness creates space for peace to breathe again inside you. Think of your heart like a pipe, meant to flow with life, peace, mercy, hope, and healing. But unforgiveness, it becomes a blockage, a knot twisted tight, a buildup that slowly restricts everything God wants to pour into you. You may feel it even now, tightness in your chest, a heaviness when you think of certain people, a clenched place in your emotions, a memory that still stings, an injustice that never received closure, words that still echo. Tonight, God is not telling you to forget. He's not asking you to pretend. He's not minimizing what happened. He is gently reaching toward those tight places and saying, "Let me help you release this so you can rest." Forgiveness is not approval. Forgiveness is not saying, "It didn't matter." Forgiveness is not saying, "They were right." Forgiveness is not excusing behavior that wounded you. Forgiveness means this: I release this from controlling my heart. I choose not to let bitterness poison my peace. I place this person and this pain into God's hands, not mine. Unforgiveness isn't a moral failure. It's a weight, a spiritual heaviness that tries to follow you into the night. It whispers old stories, replays old scenes, keeps wounds fresh, and steals emotional rest. But God knows exactly how to untangle the knots, and he does it gently, carefully, with compassion. Place your hands softly over your heart for a moment and take a slow breath. As you exhale, imagine tension leaving your chest. Imagine the spiritual tightness loosening, even just a little. Now, think of the person who brought pain into your life. Perhaps their face appears quickly. Perhaps it's someone from long ago, perhaps someone close to you. Perhaps someone who never apologized. Perhaps someone who should have protected you and didn't. Perhaps someone who broke your trust. Perhaps someone who judged you, misunderstood you, or walked away when you needed them most. You don't have to say their name out loud. God knows who they are. He knows every detail of what happened, and He knows exactly how much it hurt. If your heart tightens as you think of them, that's where healing begins. You can pray this quietly with me. Lord, I choose to forgive. Help my feelings catch up. That simple sentence is powerful. Forgiveness is an act of the will. Your emotions can take time, and God honors that process. Say it again if you want. Lord, I choose to forgive. Help my feelings catch up. Feel the release starting, not all at once, but like a gentle loosening. Forgiveness does not erase justice. Forgiveness does not erase boundaries. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation with someone unsafe. Forgiveness simply unclogs the heart so God's grace can move freely again. Let God speak tenderly to you. You do not have to carry this bitterness into the night. Let me hold it for you. Let me heal what they wounded. Let me restore peace where hurt once lived. Imagine the knot inside you slowly untangling. Imagine the tightness softening. Imagine the heaviness lifting, even slightly. Imagine the pipe clearing enough for peace to flow again. Bitterness feels protective, but it suffocates the soul. Forgiveness feels vulnerable, but it frees the soul. Tonight, allow yourself to breathe in freedom. Let God wipe away the residue of old anger, the silent resentments, the wounds that lingered in the background of your heart. You are not letting them win. You are letting God win in you. Because freedom is not something someone gives you. It is something God grows inside you when you choose release. If it still feels hard, whisper this: Lord, I want to forgive. Begin the work in me. He will. He always does. Let your heart feel lighter, even if just a little. Let your soul feel room to breathe. Let peace begin to flow again without obstruction. Forgiveness tonight is not the end of the journey. It is the opening of the gate, the unclogging of the pipe, the loosening of what has been tight for far too long. And with that release, your heart becomes ready, finally, to receive the deep rest God is preparing for you. What you whisper in the dark shapes what you believe in the light. The quiet words you speak to yourself at night, the fears that slip into your thoughts, the doubts that surface when everything else is still, can either drain your strength or deepen your faith. Nighttime has a way of amplifying inner voices. The world around you grows quiet, but your mind grows loud. And in those moments, what you say to yourself matters. Because fear has a language, and faith has a language. And your heart will follow whichever one you speak. You know the language of fear. It will never change. I'm too tired to keep hoping. This is impossible. God feels far away. I always mess things up. Nothing ever works out for me. Words like these don't just describe your situation. They shape your soul. They reinforce hopelessness. They build walls around your heart. They pull you farther from rest and closer to anxiety. But God invites you to speak a different way. In Mark 9:23, Jesus says, "Everything is possible for one who believes." This is not a promise that everything will go your way, but it is a truth that nothing is beyond God's reach. When you speak faith, you are not pretending everything is fine. You are acknowledging the reality of your situation, while inviting the greater reality of God into it. Faith says, I don't see the way, but He is the way. I don't understand, but I trust His heart. My situation is big, but my God is bigger. Fear doesn't get the final say tonight. Faith doesn't deny pain. Faith doesn't erase hardship. Faith doesn't silence sorrow. Faith simply refuses to give fear the microphone. Tonight, I want to gently teach you how to shift your inner language. Not by force, not with fake positivity, but with truth. Think of your thoughts like paths. The more you walk a path, the deeper it becomes. Some of your fear-based thoughts are simply paths you've walked too many times. But tonight, by the grace of God, you can begin carving new ones. Let's practice some gentle reframes together. Fear says, I feel alone. Faith answers, God is with me at every moment. Isaiah 41:10. Fear says, I don't know what to 41:10. Fear says, I don't know what to do. Faith answers, God will guide me step by step. Proverbs 3:5-6. Fear says, this is impossible. Faith answers, nothing is impossible with God. Luke 1:37. Fear says, I'm too weak. Faith answers, His strength is made perfect in my weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Fear says, I can't take another step. And faith answers, the Lord is my strength and my song. Psalm 118:14. When you speak faith out loud, even in a whisper, something shifts in your spirit. You begin to see differently. You begin to breathe differently. You begin to believe differently. Your words are not magic, but they are powerful. They shape your perspective. They align your heart with heaven instead of fear. They open doors for peace to enter the room. Tonight, try speaking life where despair used to live. Instead of whispering, nothing will change, try saying, God is working in ways I cannot see. Instead of saying, I've failed too many times, try speaking, His mercies are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22-23. When your mind tries to tell you you're not strong enough, answer gently, the Lord goes before me and strengthens me. You don't have to shout these truths. Whispers carry power too. Whispers become declarations. Declarations become beliefs. Beliefs become anchors for your soul. Nighttime declarations of faith build spiritual resilience. They strengthen your heart for tomorrow. They push back the darkness of fear and make room for the light of God. Take a slow breath right now. And with your exhale, release the words of fear you've been repeating. With your next inhale, let your heart receive words of truth. You might say softly, God, I choose to trust you tonight. Or, Lord, I don't see the way, but I know you do. Or simply, Jesus, I trust you. These small declarations, spoken in the quiet of your room, have the power to steady your spirit. Remember this, faith is not loud. Faith is consistent. Faith is choosing, word by word, to align your heart with God's truth instead of your fears. Let yourself rest in the language of faith tonight. Let it wash over you. Let it shape the thoughts that follow. Let it guide your heart toward peace. You don't have to force confidence. God will grow it in you as you speak His truth. Just begin with one sentence of faith, then another, and slowly, gently, the fear that once felt overwhelming will begin to lose its grip. Your words are planting seeds, seeds of peace, seeds of courage, seeds of trust, seeds of resilience. Speak life tonight. Speak faith. Speak truth. And let those words lead your heart into the rest God has prepared for you. When nothing seems to move, heaven is still responding to every whisper you pray. Even the quietest prayer, spoken through tired lips, whispered through tears, or held silently in your heart, echoes in the courts of heaven. Nothing you bring to God is overlooked. Nothing you say in faith is ignored, and nothing you pray in sincerity is ever wasted. Jesus makes this clear in Matthew 7:7, where he says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you." In the original language, these verbs carry a continuous meaning. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. Not out of desperation, not out of panic. Not because God needs convincing, but because prayer is not just about receiving something. Prayer is about becoming someone. Someone whose heart stays connected to God. Someone whose trust grows deeper day by day. Someone who refuses to disconnect even when life feels silent. When you keep asking, you're not nagging God. You're drawing near to Him. When you keep seeking, you're positioning your heart to recognize His presence. When you keep knocking, you're expressing faith that there is a door, even if you can't see it yet. Prayer is perseverance. Prayer is trust. Prayer is relationship. Prayer is closeness. Think of it this way. Every prayer you pray is like placing a brick in a wall God is building. Only He sees the full structure from above. You see only the brick in your hand. Maybe tonight you feel like you're on brick number 3, or maybe brick number 300. It doesn't matter which. What matters is that you keep building, because God is building with you. There are things God is orchestrating behind the scenes that you cannot see yet. There are pieces coming together that you do not know about. There are people being prepared, doors being formed, timing being aligned, circumstances being shifted, all while you pray. Heaven is never still, even when the earth feels silent. And the silence you feel does not mean God is inactive. Delayed answers are not denial. Sometimes the miracle takes shape quietly, slowly, delicately, like a seed underground, breaking open, sending roots deep before anything ever rises above the surface. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes God protects you with His "not yet." Sometimes He strengthens you through His weight, and sometimes He prepares you through the gap between prayer and answer. Waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. Silence is not rejection, it is formation. Delay is not distance, it is divine timing. Every time you choose to pray again, even when you feel tired, even when you feel discouraged, even when you feel like nothing is changing, you declare to your own heart, "I believe God is still working." That kind of faith pleases Him. It moves mountains inside you long before it moves mountains around you. Maybe tonight you're tempted to give up on a prayer you've prayed for years. Maybe you feel weary from carrying the same burden to God again and again. Maybe you wonder if He still hears you, or if your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. But Scripture tells you exactly what is happening with every prayer. Revelation 5:8 describes our prayers as incense gathered in golden bowls in heaven. Not one prayer lost, not one prayer forgotten, not one prayer wasted. Every whisper of your heart is held before God with honor. So tonight, Be encouraged to lean in again. Ask again. Seek again. Knock again. Even if you feel small, even if your faith feels thin, even if your hope feels fragile. The miracle may take time, but the God you're praying to is faithful. Let your prayers sound like this tonight. Lord, I will keep coming. I will keep trusting. I will keep knocking, because you promised that doors would open in your timing. This is not stubbornness. It is perseverance. This is not striving. It is faithfulness. This is not weakness. It is strength rooted in belief. And here's the beautiful part. When you keep asking, your heart stays open. When you keep seeking, your eyes stay lifted. When you keep knocking, your faith stays active. And these are the very qualities God uses to usher you into breakthrough. There are breakthroughs that require persistence. There are blessings that require spiritual endurance, not because God is holding out on you, but because He is shaping you to carry what you are praying for. Keep asking. Your prayers matter. Keep seeking. Your heart is growing. Keep knocking. The door will open. You are not praying alone. You are praying with heaven's full attention. Let this truth anchor you tonight. When nothing seems to move, heaven is still responding to every whisper you pray. Tonight, bring the one thing that feels completely impossible, and let God touch what you cannot change. Not the small concerns, not the easy requests, not the things you feel safe praying about. Bring the thing that scares you, the thing that feels too heavy, the thing that seems too far gone, the thing you've tried to fix, carry, or understand in your own strength, but haven't been able to. Your impossible situation. You don't have to say it out loud, but name it in your heart. God already knows it. He knows the details, the fear, the timing, the complexity, the exhaustion wrapped around it. But something shifts when you name it before Him, when you stop avoiding it, when you stop minimizing it, when you stop pretending it doesn't hurt as much as it does. Let yourself be honest with God tonight. He can handle your honesty. He welcomes it. Maybe your impossible situation is a diagnosis. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's a child you're worried about. Maybe it's a broken relationship. Maybe it's the grief you never fully healed from. Maybe it's your mental or emotional health. Maybe it's something you've prayed about for years, and nothing seems to have changed. Luke 1:37 says, "For nothing is impossible with God." Not some things, not most things, nothing. Your impossible situation does not intimidate Him. It does not overwhelm Him. It does not surprise Him. It does not exhaust Him. You might feel like you've reached your limit, but God has none. You might feel like you've run out of options, but God has not. You might feel like the door is permanently closed, but God can still open it. You might feel like you're running out of time, but God is never late. You have carried this burden long enough. Let tonight be the moment you place it fully, completely, honestly into His hands. Place it with trembling if you must. Place it with tears if you need to. Place it with uncertainty, confusion, frustration, or exhaustion. But place it. God is not asking you to understand it. He is asking you to surrender it. Take a slow breath here. Feel the tension in your chest, the heaviness in your shoulders, the strain in your heart. This is the weight of carrying something that was never meant to rest on you alone. Now picture yourself opening your hands. Whatever shape your impossible situation takes, See it resting there. See how heavy it looks. See how long you've been trying to hold it. And now, place it gently, intentionally into God's open hands. You may pray this with me softly in your heart. Lord, here is the thing I cannot change. Here is the thing I cannot fix. Here is the thing that keeps me awake at night. I place it in your hands. I surrender my fear, my control, and my timeline. You are the God of the impossible. Touch what I cannot touch. Move where I cannot move. Do what I cannot do. Let those words settle. Let them become a release inside you. Feel the loosening. Even if the situation hasn't changed yet, your heart is changing. Because something powerful happens when you fully surrender. You stop fighting battles in your own strength. You stop carrying burdens meant for God. You stop holding your breath and finally breathe again. God sees what is hidden from you. He sees the layers you don't understand. He sees the timing you cannot see. He sees the path you cannot predict. And He is already working in places your eyes cannot yet reach. Maybe the miracle begins tonight. Maybe it begins inside you before it begins around you. Maybe God is aligning people, opportunities, or healing that will soon intersect your life. Maybe the answer is closer than it feels. But even if the outward miracle takes time, the inward miracle, the surrender, the release, the peace, can begin right now. Let this truth quiet your heart. God holds the impossible easier than you hold the possible. And He is holding your situation now. If this prayer is speaking to your heart, consider subscribing so you can end every night in God's presence, being guided, comforted, and lifted up in moments like this. Take one more slow breath. Allow yourself to feel lighter, even slightly. Let the burden shift off your shoulders and into His hands, where it belongs. You have brought your impossible situation to the only one who can carry it, and He will not fail you. If this prayer brought you peace tonight, with all my heart, I've prepared a special gift for you. A long-forgotten prayer has just been uncovered, and those who speak it are witnessing miracles, divine favor, and blessings beyond understanding. You'll find this sacred video in the description below. Watch it tonight, and let God's peace guide your soul into rest. As your body rests tonight, may God touch places within you that no doctor, no person, and no words have been able to reach. There are layers inside you, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, far deeper than anyone else sees. And God knows every one of them intimately. He knows every cell in your body, every neuron, every vessel, every muscle, every system that works tirelessly, every system that is strained or weakened, every area that has been hurting for years, every place where tension hides, every part that feels fragile, inflamed, exhausted, or worn down. You are not a mystery to Him. You are not complicated to Him. You are known, deeply, thoroughly, lovingly known. Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. This isn't only about emotional wounds, though He sees those too. This is about every wound, the ones in your body, the ones in your thoughts, the ones in your memory, the ones in your soul. God's healing is not shallow. God's healing is wholeness. So tonight, as you breathe, as you rest, as you soften into His presence, open your heart to the healing He desires to pour into you. Think first of your physical body, the fatigue you carry, the pain that comes and goes, or never goes, the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your neck, the heaviness in your legs, the soreness in your back, the symptoms no one fully understands, the diagnosis that scares you, the chronic issues that wear you down, the sleep that never feels deep enough. God sees every bit of it. Place a hand gently over the area of your body that needs healing, even if it's symbolic, even if the pain is everywhere or nowhere specific. And breathe slowly. Imagine the healing presence of God resting on that place. Soft, warm, steady. Imagine His hand where your hand is. Imagine Him speaking peace over every cell, every organ, every system. You might whisper softly, "Lord, heal what I cannot heal." Or, "Jesus, bring your wholeness into my body. Let your muscles loosen. Let your breath deepen. Let the tension melt slowly, like ice under warm sunlight." Peace often enters the body before it enters the mind. Feel it in your breathing. Feel it in your shoulders. Feel it in the way your jaw unclenches. Feel it in the warmth spreading through your chest, your arms, your back. God is tending to you, tenderly, carefully, lovingly. Now think of the emotional wounds you carry, the invisible ones, the fatigue of your soul, the heaviness of unspoken sadness, the disappointment that took root quietly, the memories that still sting, the heartbreak you never fully recovered from, the grief you carry silently because you don't want to burden anyone, the numbness that formed as self-protection, the anxiety that rises unexpectedly, the discouragement that whispers in the background of your day. These wounds are real. They matter to God, and He is gentle with them. Imagine those emotional wounds as bruised places inside the heart, places you've covered for years, places you thought were too deep to heal, places you believed were permanent. Tonight, let God place His hand upon those bruised places. His touch does not reopen wounds, it heals them. He does not press too hard. He does not rush. He does not shame or scold. He simply heals. You can whisper this, "Lord, touch the parts of me that hurt in ways no one else sees." He is restoring what feels permanently damaged. You may not see the change immediately, but healing often begins quietly, as peace, as release, as softening, as comfort, as clarity, as rest. Let God breathe life into your emotional world again. Let Him bring beauty back into places where sorrow settled. Let Him restore color to areas that have felt gray inside. Let Him remind your heart that it is allowed to hope again. And now your mind, the thoughts that spin, the worries that tangle, the fears that rise before sleep, the mental fatigue that weighs down your clarity. Ask God to steady your thoughts, to quiet the noise, to bring order where there has been chaos, to bring stillness where there has been tension, to bring truth where lies once lived. Imagine a gentle clearing in your mind, like fog slowly lifting in the morning light. God is bringing wholeness, not just in one area, but in all of you. Spirit-led, complete, deep wholeness. You were never meant to survive on fragments. God desires to heal you in full. Body, mind, heart, spirit. Take a slow breath right now. Let your entire being, every fiber, every thought, every emotion, rest in the healing presence of God. Feel peace settling into your muscles. Feel rest entering your heart. Feel clarity beginning to return. Feel softness in places that were tense. Feel warmth where there was coldness. Feel relief where there was pressure. This is what divine healing feels like when it first arrives. Not always dramatic, but gentle, soothing, steady, like a quiet river flowing through every part of you. You are being restored tonight. You are being tended to. You are being held in the care of the healer who loves you more than you can comprehend. Let yourself rest in his wholeness. In the quiet of this night, God is still healing things between people that seem too broken for repair. You may not see the movement yet. You may not know how the pieces could ever come back together. You may feel the ache of distance, misunderstanding, or silence. But God is working in places hearts cannot reach on their own. Relationships are one of the deepest joys in life, and one of the deepest wounds. Maybe tonight, as you settle into prayer, a face comes to mind. Someone you love, or once loved. Someone you miss, someone who hurt you, someone you can't seem to talk to anymore, someone you wish things were different with, someone you long to reconnect with, but don't know how. Broken relationships come in many forms. A marriage strained by years of miscommunication, a friendship that faded after a misunderstanding, a child who grew distant, a sibling who changed, a parent who wasn't there in the way you needed, a bond severed by harsh words, mistakes, pride, or timing. Whatever shape your relational pain takes, God sees it, and he cares deeply. Scripture shows us again and again that God is in the business of restoring what seems lost. He restores families. He reconciles the estranged. He softens hearts once hardened. He reopens conversations that felt permanently closed. He turns mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, distance into closeness. No relationship is too broken for God's touch. Where there has been coldness, he can bring warmth. Where there has been silence, he can open communication. Where hearts were shut, he can soften them. Where pride blocked healing, he can humble gently. Where misunderstandings twisted the truth, he can bring clarity. You may whisper tonight, "Lord, fix what I cannot fix." And that is exactly the prayer he honors. Because healing between people is never accomplished by one person alone. You cannot control another heart. You cannot force understanding. You cannot make someone apologize, or forgive, or return, or see your side. And that lack of control is painful. But hear this: you were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's heart. That belongs to God alone. God can work in ways you cannot. God can see what you cannot. God can reach where you cannot. God can soften what you cannot. God can restore what you cannot. Let him do what only he can do. Think of the relationship weighing on you tonight. Picture it honestly. The tension, the distance, the unspoken words, the unresolved conflict, the longing for things to feel whole again. Don't push those feelings away. Bring them into the presence of God. He understands both sides of the story. He sees the deeper layers beneath the behavior. He knows the wounds behind the walls. He knows what each heart needs in order to heal. You can't change the past, but God can redeem it. You can't force reconciliation, but God can orchestrate it. You can't predict the timing, but God can perfect it. There are moments of restoration where the only explanation will be, only God could have fixed this. Moments where a phone call comes unexpectedly. Moments where an apology arrives years after the hurt. Moments where forgiveness flows in a way you didn't think was possible. Moments where a heart softens without your influence. Moments where estranged family members find their way back to each other. Moments where love replaces fear and healing replaces separation. God is already moving. Even when you cannot see the shift, something is stirring behind the curtain of the unseen. Conversations are being prepared. Hearts are being nudged. Anger is being softened. Pride is being confronted. Wounds are being tended. Your job is not to force the restoration. Your job is to trust the restorer. Pray this gently in your heart. Lord, I release this relationship into your hands. Soften what needs softening. Heal what needs healing. Break what needs breaking. Restore what only you can restore. As you whisper these words, breathe slowly. Let go of the pressure to make things perfect. Let go of the need to fix it all tonight. Let go of the worry that it may never change. God is faithful. God is wise. God is patient. God is kind. And God is working. Trust His timing. Trust His methods. Trust His process. Trust His heart. What feels impossible to you is not impossible to Him. What feels too damaged for you is mendable in His hands. What feels too far gone is actually within His reach. What you hesitate to hope for, God is already preparing. Take a final slow breath and picture this relationship, not as it is in its brokenness, but as it could be in God's healing. Picture softness where there was hardness, warmth where there was coldness, understanding where there was confusion, love where there was fear, peace where there was pain. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know when. You only need to trust the one who restores all things, including the connections your heart aches for tonight. Where your resources end, God's faithfulness begins. You may be standing tonight at the edge of what you can do, what you can earn, what you can stretch, what you can solve. Your mind might feel crowded with numbers, deadlines, bills, responsibilities, decisions. All the things money touches and all the pressure it creates. Financial worry is one of the heaviest forms of anxiety. It creeps in late at night, when the world is quiet, when distractions fade, when your mind finally has room to think. But tonight, God wants to speak into that space with tenderness and authority. He wants to remind you of who He is, Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides, not sometimes, not occasionally, not when circumstances are perfect, but always, faithfully, consistently. Your job, your income, your savings, your resources, these are channels of provision. But God is the source, and the source is never depleted. He sees the bills that have been weighing on your chest. He knows the deadlines approaching. He knows the unexpected expenses that drained what you had set aside. He knows the stress you've been carrying quietly, the pressure to keep everything afloat, the fear of falling behind, the guilt of not having enough, the exhaustion of worrying month after month. Financial fear is real, but God is greater. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let the anxiety loosen its grip a little. Tonight is not about panic. Tonight is about release. Whisper this in your heart if you want. Lord, my finances belong to you. There is so much peace in that sentence, because when something belongs to God, the pressure shifts from your shoulders to His hands. Ask Him now to lift the weight of financial fear off your spirit, to silence the thoughts that spiral into worst-case scenarios, to calm the part of your mind that keeps replaying what might go wrong. God is not asking you to ignore reality. He is inviting you to see reality through His capability rather than your limitation. Where you see lack, He sees opportunity. Where you see impossibility, He He sees provision. Where you see closed doors, He sees doors not yet opened. Where you see not enough, He sees more than enough. Pray these words softly inside. God, open the right doors and close the wrong ones. That one prayer can save you from mistakes, from misdirection, from unnecessary stress. God's wisdom protects you from unwise decisions, from unhealthy opportunities, from financial traps, from choices that look promising but are harmful. As you rest tonight, ask God for 3 specific blessings. 1, open doors of provision, not just any door, but the right door. The opportunity aligned with His timing, His purpose, His protection over your life. 2, wisdom for every financial decision. Wisdom to know what to say yes to, what to say no to, what to wait on, what to walk away from. 3, protection from financial harm, from scams, from impulsive choices, from partnerships that aren't healthy, from losses you don't see coming. God cares about all of this. He cares about your budget, your bills, your income, your responsibilities. He cares about the nights you couldn't sleep. He cares about the prayers you've prayed over money, the whispered ones, the frustrated ones, the desperate ones, the hopeful ones. Provision is not just about money, it is about peace. And God wants you to have both. He wants you to wake up tomorrow without the heaviness you felt today. He wants you to see His hand in places where you thought you were alone. He wants you to trust His timing, even in the waiting. Financial breakthroughs rarely come early, but they never come late. His timing is perfect. He knows when to release what you've been praying for. He knows when your heart is ready. He knows when circumstances align. He knows when the opportunity will bless you rather than burden you. Tonight, choose faith over fear in the places where you feel scarcity. Fear says, there's not enough. Faith says, God is more than enough. Fear says, I'll never get ahead. Faith says, God will supply all my needs. Fear says, I'm running out. Faith says, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Quiet your thoughts for a moment. Let these words settle gently into your spirit. God, I trust your provision. I trust your timing. I trust your faithfulness more than my fear. Breathe that truth in. Feel peace entering where worry once lived. Feel hope rising where despair was settling. Feel calm returning where anxiety had taken root. You do not walk into tomorrow alone. You walk with a provider who sees you, knows you, and sustains you. A God who multiplies what little you have. A God who opens doors no one else can. A God who protects what belongs to Him. A God who has never failed, not once, and will not fail you now. Rest in that tonight. Let financial pressure melt into God's promises. Let fear give way to trust. Let scarcity be overshadowed by His abundance. Where your resources end, God's faithfulness begins. If you feel forgotten, overlooked, or left behind by God's timing, this part is for you, because He has never stopped writing your story. You may feel like everyone else has moved forward while you stayed still. You may feel like the answers you prayed for have taken too long. You may feel like the door you've been knocking on hasn't opened, and maybe won't. You may feel like heaven has gone quiet. But listen to this with your whole heart. Stillness is not abandonment. Silence is not rejection. Delay is not denial. Waiting is not wasted. God has been holding every part of your timeline with care you cannot yet see. Many of the deepest hurts in life come from this place, the long wait, the dream that hasn't come true, the relationship that hasn't healed, the job that didn't open, the breakthrough that still feels far away, the prayer that seems unanswered. Waiting can feel like standing alone in an empty room while everyone else moves forward. It can make you wonder if God has forgotten your name. It can make you question whether His promises apply to you. It can make your heart feel tired, stretched thin, worn down by hope that seems to take too long. But hear the promise God speaks over you tonight through Isaiah 60:22. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Not before the right time, not after the right time, at the right time. Your timeline is not broken. Your story is not off track. Your prayers are not lost. Your hope is not foolish. Your waiting is not pointless. God's timing is one of the greatest expressions of His love. He is too wise to be rushed. He is too loving to be late. He is too faithful to ignore the details. He is too intentional to answer before your heart is ready, before circumstances align, before His greater plan unfolds. Delays in your life are often divine protection. Closed doors are sometimes blessings in disguise. Silence can be God working more deeply than you realize. And waiting is often where He shapes you, strengthens you, and prepares you for what He is already preparing for you. There are things you've prayed for that God has not said no to. He has said, not yet. Because timing matters. Your heart matters. Your growth matters. Your future matters. And God cares too much about all of it to let you receive something before it is fully ready, or before you are fully ready. Think for a moment about the thing you've been waiting for the longest. The thing you've prayed for through tears. The thing that has made you wonder if God still hears you. Let that longing rise to the surface, gently, without fear, and hear God whisper to your spirit, you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are right where I can reach you. Waiting is painful because it feels powerless. But spiritually, waiting is powerful. It keeps your heart pressed into God's heart. It keeps you connected to Him in dependence. It keeps you open to His voice, His guidance, His presence. It keeps you soft, humble, and leaning on His strength instead of your own. Waiting is not a pause in your story. It is part of your story. A chapter God uses to prepare you for the next one. So many people in Scripture waited. Abraham waited. Joseph waited. Hannah waited. David waited. Elizabeth waited. The early church waited. And every single one of them discovered that God's timing, once it arrived, was worth every minute of the wait. You are in good company. You are seen by the same God who saw them. You are held by the same God who carried them. You are loved by the same God who fulfilled His promises for them. Let your heart receive this tonight. God is not late. He is aligning. He is preparing. He is protecting. He is orchestrating things you cannot see yet. There are conversations happening behind the scenes. There are hearts changing that you don't know about. There are answers forming that haven't reached you yet. There are opportunities being shaped quietly, slowly, beautifully. There is a miracle in motion even now. And your waiting, though painful, is producing something inside you that rushing could never produce. Strength, depth, faith, endurance, wisdom, compassion, perspective, trust. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry the blessing once it arrives. Let yourself breathe here. Slowly, deeply. Reread these words in your heart. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Not you. Not your effort. Not your striving. Not your perfect planning. The Lord will make it happen. And when He does, it will be beautiful in a way that only God's timing can create. You are not waiting alone tonight. You are waiting with God, in His presence, in His love, in His perfect timing. Let peace settle where disappointment lived. Let hope rise where discouragement sat heavy. Let trust rebuild where fear whispered lies. God has not stopped writing your story. And the next chapter is being prepared with more care than you can imagine. Before God changes anything around you, He may be tenderly transforming something within you. So often, we pray for miracles in our circumstances. God, fix this, change this, open this, heal this, move here. And God hears every one of those prayers with love. But many of the greatest miracles begin not on the outside, but deep within the heart. There are miracles of perspective, miracles of emotional release, miracles of renewed hope, miracles of courage rising after a long season of fear, miracles of tenderness returning after bitterness hardened the heart, miracles of peace filling spaces once ruled by anxiety, miracles of identity restored where insecurity once lived. These internal miracles are sacred. They are often quiet, subtle, gradual, yet life-changing. Psalm 51:10 says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." This is the prayer of someone who understands that true transformation begins on the inside, not in circumstances, not in outcomes, not in other people, but in the attitude, posture, and softness of our own hearts. There is a transformation God may be gently working inside you right now, one that prepares you for the outward miracle you're praying for. Maybe He is softening your heart where hurt made it guarded. Maybe He is rebuilding your hope where disappointment had eroded it. Maybe He is reviving your faith where fear had suffocated it. Maybe He is restoring trust where betrayal had wounded it. Maybe He is lifting shame where the enemy tried to bury you. Maybe He is awakening dreams you thought died long ago. All of these are miracles. They may not look dramatic from the outside, but internally they shift everything. Think of a tree. Before fruit appears on the branches, change must happen underground, in the roots, in the soil, in the unseen places. Internal growth always precedes external evidence. Your heart is the same. Before the door opens, before the healing comes, before the breakthrough arrives, before the situation shifts, God works gently, beautifully, deeply within you. He heals your perspective so you see differently. He strengthens your courage so you stand differently. He renews your hope so you believe differently. He softens your heart so you love differently. He steadies your faith so you pray differently. These internal changes become the foundation for the miracles you are longing to see. Perhaps God is replacing cynicism with hope. You've been disappointed so many times that expecting good feels risky. But hope is rising again. Quietly, gently, like light returning after a long night. Perhaps He is transforming fear into faith, the kind of faith that whispers, "I don't know how God will move, but I trust that He will." Perhaps He is loosening the roots of bitterness, letting forgiveness begin to thaw places that have been frozen for years. This is a miracle, one of the greatest ones. Perhaps He is giving you new eyes, eyes that can see potential where you once saw impossibility, beauty where you once saw brokenness. There is nothing small about an internal miracle. It is a sign that the Holy Spirit is working in the deepest parts of your being, the parts no person can heal, no doctor can reach, no words can fix. Transformation of the heart is sacred territory. God works there with gentleness, not pressure, with compassion, not condemnation. Maybe you've been asking, Lord, why haven't you changed my situation yet? But God, in love, may be doing something even more important, changing you within the situation, strengthening what life tried to weaken, healing what pain tried to destroy, growing what disappointment tried to shrink, restoring what the enemy tried to steal. This inner work does not mean God won't move externally. It means He is preparing you to walk into that external miracle with wholeness instead of fear, courage instead of insecurity, peace instead of panic. You can whisper this prayer softly. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew my spirit. Transform me in the ways only you can. Let that be the offering of your heart tonight. A posture of openness, a willingness to be shaped, a surrender to God's gentle refinement. You might not feel the shift all at once. Most miracles of the heart unfold slowly, lovingly, layer by layer. But rest assured, something is happening inside you. Faith is strengthening, hope is rising, tenderness is returning, trust is deepening, peace is expanding. Your heart is being prepared for blessing, prepared for healing, prepared for opportunities, prepared for relationships, prepared for answered prayers, prepared for miracles. And when the external miracle arrives, the one you've prayed for, cried for, waited for, your heart will be ready to receive it, hold it, and steward it with the depth God has been forming within you. Take one gentle breath now. Feel the softness returning. Feel the courage rebuilding. Feel the internal miracle beginning its quiet, holy work. Before God changes anything around you, He's changing something beautiful within you. Tonight, God is reminding you that you are not defined by your struggles. You are defined by His love. You are not shaped by the battles you've faced, the mistakes you've made, the disappointments you've carried, or the seasons that wounded you. You are shaped by the one who calls you His own. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a child of God, held, chosen, protected, loved beyond measure. Life may have tried to convince you otherwise. Circumstances may have pushed you down. Fear may have whispered lies to you. Shame may have tried to claim your identity. Failures may have tried to define you. People may have treated you in ways that made you question your worth. But none of those voices speak with the authority of God. Romans 8:15 says, "You receive the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father." This means you belong. You are wanted. You are chosen. You are family. God is not distant from you. He is your Father, and you are His beloved child. Being a child of God shifts everything. It shapes how you walk, how you pray, how you rest, how you face tomorrow, how you interpret struggle, how you understand blessing, how you carry yourself in seasons of waiting, healing, and transition. When you see yourself as a victim of circumstances, fear becomes loud. When you see yourself as a child of God, faith becomes stronger. When you see yourself as a victim, you feel powerless. When you see yourself as a child of God, you remember you are protected by the Almighty. When you see yourself as a victim, everything feels uncertain. When you see yourself as a child of God, you know your steps are ordered. Tonight, God is lifting off the false identities that life tried to attach to you. The identity of not enough. The identity of always struggling. The identity of unseen. The identity of forgotten. And the identity of broken beyond repair. The identity of a burden. The identity of failure. None of these belong to you. You are His, and He delights in you. Let that truth sink in gently. Let it soften the places where shame once held you. Let it quiet the voice that criticizes you. Let it break the lies that have followed you for years. You may whisper this prayer softly. Lord, remind me who I am in you. You are not defined by the storm you're walking through. You are defined by the God who commands the wind and waves. You are not defined by the wounds you carry. You are defined by the healer who binds them. You are not defined by what you lost. You are defined by the one who restores. You are not defined by how others treated you. You are defined by the one who loves you perfectly. You are not defined by what you feel unqualified for. You are defined by the one who equips and empowers you. Lift your head slightly, not in pride, but in identity. You are a daughter of God. You are a son of God. You are covered by His grace. You are strengthened by His Spirit. You are carried by His love. You are held in His hands. You are guided by His wisdom. You are protected by His peace. When you walk into tomorrow, you are not walking in weakness. You are walking in inheritance. An inheritance of peace. An inheritance of strength. An inheritance of courage. An inheritance of spiritual authority. An inheritance of belonging. Let go tonight of the identity of victimhood, the mindset that says, life happens to me and I have no power. God is giving you authority to speak, pray, and live from a place of victory. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because your identity in Him is secure. Release the fear of failure, because your worth is not determined by success. Release the fear of what others think, because you answer to one voice. Release the fear of tomorrow, because you do not walk alone. Release the self-doubt that's been stealing your confidence, because God calls you chosen, capable, and beloved. Hear Him whisper over your heart tonight. You are mine. I am with you. I am for you. You are stronger than you feel. You are braver than you think. You are more held than you know. Let those words wash over you like warm light. Let them replace every lie, every fear, every shadow that tried to cling to you. Let them reframe how you see yourself and how you see tomorrow. When the sun rises, you rise with it. Not as a victim of what you cannot control, but as a child of God, walking in truth, authority, and identity. Take one slow breath. Feel strength returning. Feel identity settling. Feel peace anchoring you. Feel God standing beside you. You are walking into tomorrow with God beside you, and that changes everything. Peace isn't a moment. It's a sanctuary you can return to every single night with God. Not a fleeting feeling, not a temporary escape, not something you have to chase or earn, but a place, a rhythm, a refuge, a nightly meeting with the God who calms your heart and carries your burdens. Tonight, as you breathe slowly and settle deeper into rest, remember this. God doesn't meet you only on the days you feel strong. He doesn't speak only when your faith is perfect. He doesn't draw near only when your life feels orderly. He meets you faithfully, gently, consistently, night after night, no matter how your day went. Lamentations 3:22-23 says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. His mercies never fail. They are new every morning." Every night you come to Him, you arrive under fresh mercy. Not leftover mercy, not reduced mercy, not barely enough mercy. New mercy. Mercy that resets the heart. Mercy that lifts the mind. Mercy that restores peace. Mercy that prepares you for tomorrow. This nightly moment, these minutes of quiet prayer, soft breathing, and gentle surrender can become one of the most healing rhythms of your life. A sacred pattern, a stabilizing anchor, a spiritual home you come back to again and again. Let God's presence become your evening routine, your emotional refuge, your nightly renewal. Feel the safety of this moment, the quiet, the stillness, the way your heart softens when you finally set everything down. Let this peace remind you that you're not alone in your nights. God is with you in every hour, every shadow, every thought, every tear. You are allowed to come here weary. You are allowed to come here anxious. You are allowed to come here discouraged or overwhelmed or numb or confused. You never have to pretend before God. This space is safe. This prayer is safe. This rhythm is safe. This place is your refuge. A place to lay down what you carried all day. A place to breathe again after holding everything in. A place to reconnect with the one who strengthens you. A place to remember who you are and whose you are. And if tomorrow is hard, come back. If your mind won't quiet, come back. If your hope feels thin, come back. If your heart aches, come back. If you don't know what to pray, just come. God will meet you in the exact same faithfulness you are experiencing now. He doesn't grow tired of your prayers. He doesn't roll his eyes at your fears. He doesn't sigh when you bring the same burden again. He is a father who gladly receives his children over and over and over again. Let that truth settle gently into your spirit. You can always return. You can always rest. You can always breathe here. You can always be yourself here. Imagine this nightly space like a warm light in a dark hallway. No matter how your day ends, you can walk toward this light. It will always be on. It will always welcome you. It will always guide you back to peace. This rhythm, coming to God each night, is how your heart learns to trust Him deeply. It is how your mind learns to quiet more easily. It is how your emotions learn to release more quickly. It is how your spirit grows steady, anchored, strong. Bit by bit, breath by breath, prayer by prayer. God is forming something inside you through these nights of rest. A calmer heart, a quieter mind, a steadier faith, a deeper intimacy with Him, a greater trust in His timing, a softened posture toward the things you cannot control. This rhythm isn't just comforting, it's transformational. So if these nightly prayers bring your heart peace and help you feel God's nearness and ease your anxieties before sleep, here is a gentle invitation. If these nightly prayers bring you peace, consider subscribing so you can end each day with God's presence. Not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but so that peace becomes easier to find, so that surrender becomes familiar, so that rest becomes your default posture instead of worry. You are building a spiritual habit, a nightly returning to the one who loves you. A pattern that strengthens your days because it steadies your nights. A rhythm that teaches your soul to breathe again. And God delights in this. He delights in your return. He delights in your seeking. He delights in your desire to rest in Him. As this part closes, breathe once more. Slow, deep, gentle. Feel the calm settling over you. Feel your body releasing tension. Feel your spirit sinking into peace. You can return to this sanctuary every night, and God will meet you here with new mercy, with quiet strength, with steady love, and with peace that reaches deeper than words. This night is holy. You can rest now, because your life, your loved ones, and your tomorrow are safe in God's hands. You don't have to keep watch. You don't have to hold everything together. You don't have to rehearse every worry or solve every problem before sleep. God, the one who never sleeps, never forgets, never fails, is watching over you. Let your shoulders soften. Let the air in your lungs slow down. Let your thoughts begin to quiet as peace wraps gently around you, like a warm blanket. You are safe tonight. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." This isn't just a verse. It's a promise, a divine invitation, a reminder that you are not falling asleep alone. You are resting in the care of a loving God who surrounds you with protection. As you prepare to drift into sleep, release the weight of tomorrow. Whatever you've been trying to anticipate, prevent, or control, open your hands. Let it go. Let God carry what you were never meant to shoulder on your own. Hear the words of Matthew 6:34. "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." And God is not asking you to figure out the future tonight. He is simply asking you to trust Him with it. Release tomorrow. Release the unknown. Release the timing. Release the outcome. Release the pressure to be everything, fix everything, know everything. All of that belongs to God. You are allowed to rest deeply, fully, confidently. Let the truth of Isaiah 26:3 settle over your heart. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you, because they trust in you. Perfect peace, not partial peace, not temporary peace, not fragile peace, but perfect peace for the one who trusts in Him. Trust doesn't mean you feel no fear. Trust means you choose to rest in God even when fear whispers. Trust means your heart leans gently into His presence, especially at night. As you lie here, I want to pray a blessing over your whole being, over your body. May your muscles loosen. May your breathing slow. May your heart rate settle into a calm rhythm. May every stressed place soften under the warmth of God's peace. May healing flow through you as you sleep, restoring strength, restoring balance, restoring rest. Over your mind, may the racing thoughts quiet now. May intrusive worries dissolve. May the replaying of the day come to a gentle stop. May your mind feel held, comforted, and protected. Over your emotions, may God soothe what aches, heal what hurts, and calm what feels unsettled. May He fill the empty spaces with His presence and wrap you in comfort as tender as a soft embrace. Over your dreams, may your sleep be peaceful, God-filled, and deeply restorative. No nightmares, no spiritual heaviness, no fear, only rest, revelation, and renewal. Over your home, may every room be covered by God's presence. May angels stand guard over your walls, your windows, your doors. May His protection surround you like a shield. May your home become a sanctuary of peace. Let these whispered affirmations settle deep into your heart. Let them echo softly as you drift toward sleep. You are safe. God is protecting you. You are loved more deeply than words can express. you are not alone. He is with you, in this room, in this breath, in this moment. Feel those truths resting over you like a warm covering. Let them wrap around your spirit. Let them still your heart. Let them anchor your mind. Now take one slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, pray this with me quietly. I surrender, I trust, I rest. Again, gently. I surrender, I trust, I rest. Let that be your final prayer of the night, a prayer that lifts every burden out of your hands and places it lovingly into God's. You are lying down in divine peace. You are drifting into sleep under God's protection. You are enveloped in His presence. You are safe in His arms. As this night settles around you, let these final words seal everything you've prayed, released, and received. This night is sealed in God's peace. Nothing can disturb what He has covered. Nothing can undo what He has blessed. Nothing can separate you from His presence as you sleep. And before your eyes grow heavy, hear this gentle reminder. Come back here every night. This is your sanctuary of rest. A place to breathe, a place to heal, a place to release, a place to be held, a place to meet God in the quiet. Tonight, sleep in peace, because God is holding everything.